Chapter 14, Canabel 2. Overlord, the Multiverse by Black_Bolt. 2.1K688. As the flames danced around me, turning the undead into crispy critters faster than a barbecue on a hot summer's day, I couldn't help but feel a sense of satisfaction. Well, looks like we've got ourselves a bonfire, I quipped, flashing a grin at the rapidly disintegrating horde. But just when I thought I had the situation under control, Canabel decided to crash the party like a rude neighbor demanding to borrow a cup of sugar. With a snarl that could curdle milk, he lunged forward, his sword slicing through the air like a hot knife through butter. I sidestepped his attack with all the grace of a dancer dodging a clumsy partner, narrowly avoiding becoming the main course in his undead buffet. But Canabel wasn't about to let a little thing like dodging ruin his fun. With a wicked grin, he unleashed a barrage of insults that stung worse than a swarm of angry bees. You called it an attack, he sneered, his voice dripping with sarcasm. I've seen scarier kittens. I rolled my eyes, resisting the urge to roll them right out of my skull. Hey, watch it, buddy, I retorted, my own voice laced with sarcasm. I'll have you know I've got a black belt in sarcasm and a PhD in kicking vampire butt. With that, I launched into a flurry of attacks, my sword flashing in the firelight as I danced around Canabel's strikes like a cat playing with a ball of yarn. Each blow landed with the force of a freight train, sending shockwaves through the air and leaving Canabel staggering in my wake. But just when I thought I had him on the ropes, Canabel decided to up the ante with a spell so powerful it could make a grown man wet his pants. Or in my case, a grown vampire wet his cloak. With a roar that would make a banshee blush, he unleashed a wave of darkness that threatened to swallow me whole. But I wasn't about to let a little thing like impending doom ruin my day. With a smirk that could melt butter, I cast the void shield, creating a shimmering barrier of darkness around me. Nice try, Fangs, I quipped, winking at Canabel through the shadows. But you'll have to do better than that to catch me. As the wave of darkness crashed against my shield, I felt the impact reverberate through my body like a bad hangover after a night of partying with the undead. But thanks to my quick thinking and even quicker reflexes, I stood my ground, the shield holding firm against the onslaught. You called it a spell, I called out, my voice dripping with sarcasm. I've seen scarier bedtime stories. Canabel's eyes narrowed in frustration, his anger palpable even through the darkness. You'll pay for that, mortal, he snarled, his voice echoing in the cavernous chamber. Oh, I'm shaking in my boots, I retorted, my confidence bordering on cockiness. But enough chit-chat, let's finish this, shall we? With a flourish, I cast the True Dark, my signature move that always packed a punch. The room erupted in a chaotic dance of shadows and light as the fangs streaked towards Canabel like a pack of rabid bats. But the crafty vampire god was quick to counter, summoning a barrier of blood shield to deflect my attack. Nice try, mortal, he sneered, his voice dripping with disdain. But you'll have to do better than that to best me. I grinned, my determination stronger than ever. Oh, I've got plenty more where that came from, I replied, my voice oozing with bravado. As the battle raged on, I unleashed a barrage of spells and sword strikes, each one more ferocious than the last. Canabel matched me blow for blow, his own attacks coming fast and furious like a storm at sea. But I refused to back down, drawing on every ounce of strength and skill I possessed. With each swing of my sword and every incantation of my spells, I inched closer and closer to victory. Suddenly, with a thunderous roar, Canabel unleashed his ultimate attack, Blood Eclipse, a spell so powerful it could blot out the land around us. The room was engulfed in darkness, the air thick with the scent of blood and magic. But I refused to be intimidated. With a defiant cry, I summoned every last ounce of power within me and unleashed my own counterattack, Vermilion Nova, a spell of such magnitude it could burn the very foundations of the floor. The two spells collided in a dazzling display of light and shadow, the sheer force of their impact sending shockwaves rippling through the air. For a moment, it seemed as though the entire world held its breath, waiting to see who would emerge victorious. And then, with a deafening explosion, the darkness was banished, the light victorious once more. As the smoke cleared and the dust settled, I stood victorious, my sword raised high and my chest heaving with exertion. Canabel lay defeated at my feet, his once proud form reduced to nothing more than a pile of ashes. Congratulations, you have defeated Canabel, the god of the bloodline of origin. Congratulations, you have leveled up. Level 87 greater than level 88. Level 88 greater than level 89. Congratulations, you have obtained the rare item, Blood Spattered Cloak. Congratulations, you have obtained the rare item, Canabel's Blood Soul. Congratulations, you can now promote your racial class to Vampire God. Now that's what I call reward for my hard work. Tilde. Leave a comment and review, if you like my story. I posted around 100 plus advanced chapter on Patreon, if you are interested check it out. Patreon.com/blackbolt517. Chapter 15, Death into Fashion. Overlord, the Multiverse by Black_Bolt. With a nod, I selected the option to promote my racial class to Vampire God, fully committing myself to the path of ultimate power and glory. Congratulations, you have successfully promoted your racial class to Vampire God. Congratulations, you have unlocked new abilities and skills befitting a Vampire God. Congratulations, you can now learn holy spells. Congratulations, your resistance to holy magic has increased. Congratulations, your resistance to fire magic has increased. Congratulations, your resistance to light magic has increased. Congratulations, you can control blood of all living beings. Congratulations, you have obtained Total Blood Regeneration ability. Congratulations, you have obtained Blood Rebirth ability. Congratulations, you have obtained Blood Monarch ability. Now this is what I call leveling up, I muttered to myself, feeling like a kid in a candy store. But instead of candy, I had a smorgasbord of blood-related powers at my fingertips. Talk about a vampire's dream come true. With a mischievous grin, I eagerly delved into the descriptions of my newly acquired abilities. Now let's see what kind of mischief I can get up to with these bad boys, I muttered to myself, rubbing my hands together like a vampire plotting his next feast. First up was the Total Blood Regeneration ability. According to the game menu, this nifty little skill allowed me to regenerate any lost health at an accelerated rate. Well, I chuckled, tapping my chin thoughtfully. A mischievous thought crossed my mind. I wonder if I can use total blood regeneration to regrow my hair, I mused aloud, stroking my bald vampire head with a chuckle. Who needs Rogaine when you've got magic? Next on the list was the blood rebirth ability. As I read through the description, a wicked grin spread across my face. Ah, now this is interesting, I muttered, stroking my chin in contemplation. Apparently, I can use this bad boy to resurrect me as long there is living player or NPC. Talk about playing God. Which means, only a undead can kill me now. Last but not least was the Blood Monarch ability. According to the game menu, this powerful skill granted me dominion over all creatures that had blood running through their veins, and vampire too, and I can even change any player or NPC's racial class to vampire. Well, I chuckled, feeling a surge of power coursing through my veins. Looks like I'm the king of the bloodsuckers now. Bow down, minions. With my newfound abilities at my disposal, I couldn't help but feel like a kid in a candy store. Except instead of candy, I had a buffet of blood-related powers just waiting to be unleashed on the unsuspecting denizens of Yggdrasil. Let the games begin, I declared with a wicked grin, cracking my knuckles in anticipation. But as I prepared to put my newfound powers to the test, a voice echoed in the back of my mind. Don't get too excited now, Death said with a smile. With great power comes great responsibility. Oh, come on, dear, I replied, waving a dismissive hand. Where's the fun in being responsible? Put the weight then leave the site, that's my policy. Death chuckled at my nonchalant attitude, her skeletal features contorting into an amused grin. Spoken like a true troublemaker, she remarked, her voice tinged with amusement. Now then, where are you going next? I flashed her a mischievous grin, my excitement bubbling over like a cauldron of boiling potions. Nidavellir, the home of the dwarves and black elves, I declared, my voice dripping with anticipation. I've got a date with destiny, and a shiny new sword with my name on it. Death arched a bony eyebrow, her amusement evident even in her skeletal form. A sword, you say? She mused, her voice tinged with curiosity. What's wrong with the one you've got? I shrugged nonchalantly, feigning indifference. Oh, you know, just your typical vampire warrior stuff, I replied with a casual wave of my hand. I figure if I'm gonna be a vampire god, I might as well look the part, right? Death chuckled, a sound like dry leaves rustling in the wind. Fair enough, she conceded, her tone tinged with amusement. But before go you need to do something about your look. It's time make you look pleasing to I. I scratched my head, realizing that Death had a point. You're right, I admitted sheepishly. I can't go strutting around Nidavellir looking like I just crawled out of a crypt. With a mischievous grin, I summoned the creator tool from my inventory. This handy little gadget was my ticket to a whole new look, capable of transforming my avatar into something straight out of a fashion magazine. Hearing me, Death nodded in agreement, her expression surprisingly sympathetic for a skeleton. Exactly, she replied. Luckily for you, I happen to know a thing or two about fashion. I raised an eyebrow, intrigued. Fashion, huh, I mused, my curiosity piqued. I never took you for a trendsetter, Death. For you, I can become anything, dear, she said. I chuckled at Death's response, impressed by her adaptability. Well then, let's see what you've got, I said, gesturing for her to join me at the holographic interface of the creator tool. Who knew Death had a flair for fashion? I don't know how Death controlled the holographic projection of herself. As she began to manipulate the controls with surprising dexterity, I couldn't help but be impressed by her keen eye for style. First up, the hair. With a few clicks and flicks, she transformed my bald head into a sleek, jet black trimmed mane that would make even the most distinguished man jealous. Hey, not bad, I commented, running a hand through my new locks. I always knew I had potential as a hair model. Next, Death turned her attention to my less than handsome vampire mug. With a series of deft maneuvers, she smoothed out my angular features, chiseling them into a more refined and dare I say, dashing visage. Now we're talking, I grinned, admiring my reflection in the holographic display. Who knew Death was a master sculptor? Death chuckled at my enthusiasm, her fingers dancing across the interface with practiced ease. Just wait until you see the finished product, she promised, her voice tinged with amusement. I've got a few tricks up my sleeve yet. With that, she continued to work her magic, tweaking and refining my avatar until it was nothing short of perfection. From the tip of my perfectly coiffed hair to the point of my impeccably manicured nails, every detail was meticulously crafted to exude an air of effortless cool. With her skill touch, Death transformed my avatar into a vision of undeniable handsomeness. My eyes, now a striking shade of crimson, gleamed with an otherworldly allure, drawing others in with their captivating gaze. Framed by a mane of ink black hair, impeccably styled to perfection, my sharp jawline accentuated the contours of my face, giving me an air of rugged charm. But it wasn't just my facial features that exuded appeal. With each movement, my hands, adorned with impeccably manicured nails, conveyed an aura of confidence and grace. And to top it all off, a subtle piercing in my right ear added just the right touch of edginess, hinting at a rebellious spirit lurking beneath my suave exterior. In short, I was the epitome of cool, a vampire whose mere presence commanded attention and admiration wherever I went. And the face of future waifu hunter. Tilde. In my Patreon, this volume is almost over. You can join my Patreon for $3. See you. 100+ chapter. Patreon.com/blackbolt5